questions for you. I'm Natalie Bunger. Miss Angel knows me as Natalie Dominguez, but you can call me Miss Natalie, you can call me Bunger, whatever you want to call me, I really don't care. If you have questions, I'm going to try to answer some of those at the end. But I kind of have some questions for y'all to start out, and then we'll kind of get into what I do and things of that sort. How many, all of y'all are seniors, is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so how many of you are salutatorian, valedictorian? And it's okay to say no. I mean, you gotta raise your hand, you gotta check that in. No? Okay, well, I'm just asking because the whole purpose of this, as me and Miss Angela talked about, is to kind of get you self-motivated. I graduated 19th of my class out of about 40 kids. So it means I graduated right in the middle. I mean, I was not salutatorian, I wasn't valedictorian, nothing of that sort. What I do now is, well, let me ask you another question, and man, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. I don't know how your parents or guardians or anybody like that raised you, but who would like to guess how old I am?
Oh, no.
39.
39. It's okay, shoot high, that's all right.
27.
27.
28.
What?
25.
25. I am 29 years old. But it's okay to guess high, it doesn't matter. I mean, when I was in school, a lot of people, anybody that I met that I went in school with, they always thought that I was older. I was very mature for my age. With that being said, I am a branch manager for the credit union in Marshall. East Texas Professional, of course, it's here in Longview, but I'm a branch manager at 29. I manage 15 employees, and the whole reason kind of this conversation was to let you know that no matter what you do, you don't have to be salutatorian, valedictorian, you don't have to be the best in your class, but you can always learn a trade. You can always do something to advance and grow. I started in banking when I was 18 years old. I started out as a part-time teller. Just started kind of learning my trade, things of that sort. Before then, when I was in high school, I worked at Texas Roadhouse. I was just a hostess, set people, whatever. I am very interactive with people. I try to learn as much as I can. Now, to kind of rewind and start back before I was even working in school, I did track, softball, cheerleading, and basketball. Basketball was my favorite sport. I was MVP of a lot of these things, but of course I went to a smaller school. I've always been competitive. I've always tried to learn as much as I can. Doing so taught me a lot, especially, I mean, like I said, I'm only 29. The best thing that I can tell you guys is to learn, no matter what. Be willing to do what nobody else is willing to do, because that will take you very far, and it will make you and create yourself as an asset for other people. Now, once I started working, like I said, I was just a hostess at Roadhouse. I learned as much as I could, stayed there, became a trainer. After that, I left there once I graduated, started working at Dillard's. Dillard's just paid more, full-time job. I did not go to school. I did not go to college. Started learning more about money, about finance, things of that sort on my own. Once I kind of, me and my husband now, boyfriend at the time, got together, we did get pregnant. So that's when I started realizing, hey, I don't want to work at Dillard's the rest of my life. I started looking more at bank jobs, things of that sort. More entry-level positions that you necessarily don't have to go to school and have have a degree of some sort, something that is more entry-level with a diploma. So with that said, whenever I entered in at Capital One, I was just a part-time teller, worked there, and started just kind of learning my trade, learning as much as I could. I interacted with people, with customers, learned things of that sort, just to kind of get a feel for, is this the way I want to go with my life? Now, after I left there, I just kept growing and moving in the finance world. I then moved on to another position in Hallsville where I was another full-time teller. Within 2 weeks, I was a training teller because my lead teller had quit. So I walked into a branch, did not know anything about this company, and they immediately wanted me to train people. So with that said, always learn as much as you can, no matter what field you're in, no matter if it's a trade, no matter if you're going to school, learn as much as you can. That's going to help you grow because in any field that you're in, if you can learn as much about it as you can, you're going to be very versatile. I was there. The one thing that I learned there was not everybody's your friend. Not everybody. But you are to be courteous and respectful to everybody. I mean, y'all know that in school, right? Not everybody's your friend. I see y'all shaking your head back then. Not everybody's your friend, but your lives are just starting. You know, there may be someone who does not like you. There are plenty of people that did not like me. Plenty of people. But as you grow and you mature, all that comes down to how you respected and treated somebody else. Whenever I'm 29, there are people that I didn't like in school that come to me and I help them and, we grow together. In your lives, you're going to see a lot of change. Y'all are about to enter into a world that, when you get out of high school, you're gonna be like, did this really bother me? Because this is not gonna, it's just not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter at all. At the end of the day, you just gotta do what's best for you, what's best for your family, what's best for those around you. And with that said, not everybody around you is going to benefit you. You need to fill your lives with people that are going to help you grow in your path. Now, I'm not saying that everybody won't help you grow. There are people that aren't going to benefit you, but they're going to help you become the person that you need to be. So, as I worked in Hallsville, like I said, I trained. We became pregnant with our second child. After that, I left, went back to Capital One, stayed there for a little bit because I was just part-time. I really needed full-time. And then I advanced to Texas Bank and Trust, where I worked full-time. While I was there, I broke records as a teller. They basically begged me not to leave. My husband is also an entry-level worker. He did not go to college, started in the oil field, and now he is a company owner. He owns his own trucking company. He just learned very much about his trade, learned as much as he could, went to school, learned for those around him. So with that said, I then quit working, stayed at home, but then I started my own profession with photography. So I do wedding photography on the side currently right now. I can make anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 a weekend. So with that said, I don't want y'all to think that if you're in a profession, that's the only thing that you have to learn. Yes, I'm still in banking. Yes, that's what I do every day. It is my full-time job. I am an adult for 15 other adults, and some of them are in their 50s and 60s. So learn as much as you can because there are so many ways you can be versatile. I stayed at home, did photography for about 3 years, and then realized I needed a little bit more of the real world once my kids started school. So I then went back to banking here in Longview at Bancorp South. I was there for 3 years. During that 3 years, I learned to train employees, go to different branches of Dallas, Shreveport, things of that sort, where people would request me to come train them. That's just honestly how comfortable I am with people. And people see in me what they see in themselves. There are never any dumb questions. There's never any, questions that you should consider stupid because all there is the unknown. And I'm telling you, ask as many questions as you can, anything that you do. After there, I decided, I really want to move up into management. I then left, went to East Texas Professional where I become a branch manager in less than 10 months and also a loan officer. So I handle all of their finances, I do everything of that sort. The reason I kind of wanted to tell y'all what I've done is you don't have to necessarily start at a job and stay there. Learn what you can. There's going to be people that you can go and grow with. I've worked at 4 different types of institutions. I've grown. I have become a branch manager at the age of 29. Yes, y'all are, what, 17, 18, is that right? It took me 10 years to get here. But I'm telling you, as soon as you get out of school, it's going to fly by. And I want y'all to learn as much as you can. Miss Angel wants y'all to learn as much as you can. Because, I mean, the skies are the limit. My biggest thing about that, and now, is constantly learning. I tell all of my employees, I have employees from, I think one just turned 21 all the way up to 60. And I tell them all the time, learn as much as you can. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter when you start. Because you are going to become an asset not only to yourself, but to those around you. And that is going to give you that feel and that need for people to want to work with you and interact with you. It's also going to give you job security. Now, if you go and start a job somewhere and you're there for 15, 20 years, I applaud you because I don't have that seniority. That is one thing that I do lack. When I go and I get ready to take my vacation, I have to let all my employees off before me. And then I'm like, okay, I get the scraps. But at the end of the day, I'm where I want to be in my career, and I'm still an asset to my employees. My biggest life lesson that I learned is to just never stop growing, no matter what. How many of y'all are looking to go to college? You're gonna, let me ask, are you gonna stay local?
For me,
Mhm.
no.
Where are you looking to go?
Prairie, like, oh, that was the area.
Okay, okay. How many of y'all plan to stay in the Longview area? You plan to stay in the Longview area?
Longview area?
Yeah, the Longview, East Texas area?
We've got 2 military.
Oh, okay.
Your brother did military.
Yes, my brother did military. Okay, all right. Well, that's awesome because there's a lot of generations, even mine included, that they didn't look to college. So to see the majority of y'all, looking to hope to go to college, that's awesome. And never stop that because even, if there's nobody around you that can help you pay for it, you can always go entry level position, work, save, do what you got to do to get there.
I will say that too. I don't know Natalie's family personally, but I would say she's like most of us. Her family was not perfect. I can tell she's very proud of herself, and she should be because she worked herself to get where she is. So it doesn't matter where you come from or what support you have. If you want it enough to make a life for yourself, you can. She's a prime example of that.
Yeah. That's why I tell you all the time, learn, continue to learn. When Miss Johns is sitting up here, y'all are probably like, I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to lie to y'all. There's some things that I do not use. I don't. But the main majority is you have to learn to respect your peers. You have to learn that. That is one of the biggest things. I had so many teachers that inspired me, believed in me. Not only that, I had coaches. And that in itself showed me that, it gave me that sense of need, where they felt like they needed me. They needed me part of their team. They needed me part of their class. You have to learn that type of respect because that's going to get you a lot of places in life. You may not be the best one there, the smartest one there, but let me tell you, it's going to stand out when you respect somebody in that room. Because I'm not saying, bend over backwards for those people, but stand your ground, but also be respectful. If you have a certain belief in something, that's fine. Stand your ground on it, but be respectful in the sense that those people say, hey, I can trust that they're going to do right by me. That's the biggest thing. That's one of my biggest life lessons is to be respectful. I have countless employees that are still learning that, and that goes all the way up to one of my 60-year-olds. There are so many avenues that you can go down, and whenever you get to a point where you're not respectful with somebody or you're disrespectful, you then stray away from the whole point of where you're going, and that's to find a conclusion to whatever situation that you're in. That's one of my biggest life lessons is to always be respectful, no matter what.
Tell us, Natalie, about the personal connections you've made through the years that have helped you. I know Kelly Newman is someone from Harleton.
Yep.
Tell us, have you crossed back over these paths of people that you've met along the way?
Okay. Growing up in Harleton, like Miss Angel said, she doesn't really know much about my family situation, but I mean, I grew up with almost nothing. I grew up in a single wide trailer. I mean, nothing. Whenever I went to school, I was very determined. Like I told y'all, I just never stopped learning. Whenever I was in sports, it drove me to be very, very competitive. So in that time, when I cheered, my boss, who is Kelly, she kind of saw me from a standpoint as, very young. She knew of me around about the 15, 16 age group where I cheered with her daughter. She knew of me through sports, everything of that sort. She knew that I was very competitive. She followed along through Facebook, social media, things of that sort, where you can see that I do photography, everything. I try to promote what I'm doing and be successful. As I was at Bancorp South, Kelly had reached out to me. She said, hey, I'm moving on to a new profession. I would like for you to come with me. You seem like you're very driven, things, just along those lines. So I did my research a little bit, knew of people that worked at another institution where she was going, and I didn't feel comfortable. And I respectfully told her, I'm very glad that you're moving on and advancing your career, but what you're doing is not something that's going to make me happy. And I feel like I need to move up because what she offered me was what I was already doing. I said, no, I don't want to make a lateral move or the same move. I want to advance. At that point, she said, I appreciate you doing your research. It shows the level of respect that you have for your profession. And she said, it just makes me want to work with you more. So after about a few months, Kelly came back to the credit union. So at that point, she reached out to me again, told me that she had a branch manager position that was opening and would like for me to take the position based off of how she knew me. So all the people that you interact with, Miss Johns, you never know. Miss Johns, someone may offer her a position to, be a manager of, leading people along their path or something. I mean, the skies are the limits no matter what age you are. My boss, she's over 5 of our locations. She started out, I think she started out just in the base operations, and she has moved up where she manages, tons of people. You multiply mine, I don't want her job. So, but the whole point of that is all of your connections and all of those interactions and those people that you respect and you show that drive to, they're going to remember that. It's gonna stick out to them. The whole point of having those interactions is being able to show somebody what you can do.